Hi guys, thanks so much for coming back to my channel. Kia Sangria here. Today I'm going to talk about how I made this corset, and I'm actually going to give you guys a tutorial on how I did it. If you're watching this, I really do think that it's best that you follow along with the pattern that I used to make it. The pattern that I used to make this corset is the Simplicity 5006. This is technically a lingerie pattern, but it has this really cool corset pattern and this skirt pattern. I originally used this pattern to make an Elizabeth cosplay from the video game series BioShock Infinite, but as of now, uploading this video, I have already made this corset 3 times. This is my third one. Here it's made out of stretch blue taffeta and it has a cotton lining, and the boning is made with zip ties, similar to the one that you're going to see inside of this video here. I think this pattern is absolutely amazing. It was very easy to sew along and like follow the directions. The directions are pretty good. I personally have always found corsets to be intimidating. I never thought that I would actually be able to sew one, let alone 3. But the instructions in this pattern is amazing. And I think that even if you're a beginner, first of all, if you can sew straight stitches, you can sew a corset. Because literally straight stitches is all you need to actually make a corset. You just need to know a lot about measurements and how things fit. I cover more of those things in my blog, which I'll leave a link to down below. But this pattern, I absolutely love it. It's very versatile. The corset that they show here is plain, so even after you make it, you can embellish it. Like for this one, I added some gold trimming here. You can do whatever it is that you want to this item after you finish sewing it, and that's what I really like about it. So I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm just gonna like get into showing you guys how I put this together. If there's anything that I didn't explain clearly, I apologize for that. Please just leave a comment down below and I will do my best to answer it for you. Any materials that I got, I will leave a link to those materials as well as my tools in the description bar below. But without further ado, let's get into it. So as you can see here, I'm just trying to pin the center seams for the front of the corset. And I'm so sorry, but I had my AC on. It was too hot when I was working and I just couldn't work without it. But as you can see, I suffered some like difficulties pinning this because of it. So now I'm just going to sew a straight stitch down the center. With that completed, I'm just going to go ahead and iron the seams just so that it'll be easier for me to install my boning, and you'll see later on that I'm actually going to do this for all of the seams where there will be a boning channel. So at this point, I've gone ahead and kind of like attached and pinned all of the pieces together that'll make up the corset. What I'm working on right now is the lining for the corset, but I'm going to repeat the exact same steps for the fashion layer as well. So this here is the main layer, and this is the lining actually, and what you see here is, again, I'm just going to press all of the seams down so that it'll be easier for me to install my boning. So here is all of the boning channels pinned in. I'm going to sew these down carefully, making sure that there's enough space in the channel for me to fit in my boning. So here what you see me doing is I'm just filing the boning. The reason for this is because I'm using cable ties for my boning. So when I'm cutting them, they have some sharp edges and I don't want that to eventually poke through the fabric. So I'm just filing them down so that they're smooth so I can avoid that. If you've ever worn like an underwire bra, then you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to like wiring or something poking at you and being like ultimately the most uncomfortable experience ever. And then once I've determined that it's filed to perfection, I'm just going to put it inside the boning channel. So after this, I've already sewn the boning channel shut, and I'm moving on to the fashion layer. So with the fashion layer for Elizabeth's corset, I'm just going to put some ribbon on the front center seams. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew the ribbon onto the front fashion layer of the corset. So now I'm just sewing the lining and the fashion layer together. This is going to form the whole corset, the outside and the inside. So this is the corset completed, the inside and the fashion layer outside. So now to finish the corset, I'm just going to apply some twill bias tape. This is to seal the raw edges of the corset in its own casing so that both the top and the bottom of the corset is smooth. So I've gone ahead and sewn the twill tape, and now the last step is to apply the grommets. This is by far the hardest step, and I honestly hate this part the most. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to make a hole in the back of your corset very gently as not to tear through it, but a hole big enough for the grommet to fit inside of it. So I'm just making sure it fits, and if it doesn't, then I need to go back and go ahead and make the hole a little bit bigger so that this can fit comfortably in there. And this is the last step in making your corset, so take your time with this. So now that I've confirmed the grommet fits, I'm just going to turn it over so that I can apply the washer. And I'm going to use the grommet tool to just center everything and my hammer to nail it down. Once you've done that, you should be left with a hole that looks like this. And this is the finished corset. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was informative. If you have any other questions for me, please ask, and I will see you in my next video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more.